Good morning, Boulder.
Mocko Show.
Woo-wee! I'm coming at you halfway up Flagstaff Mountain, and I did not want to miss the sunrise. So I'm going to place this very hazardously right here. Hello? Okay, this is a pretty big gamble. I have no idea if this is gonna work, but we're gonna take a shot at it and hope that there aren't any hikers out on the trail right now. Last night had a little bit of issues sleeping. I was just thinking about all of the love and messages and support that I got from you all over the last 48 hours. It was amazing. My intent with my next post was actually gonna be this goofy competitive eating post, but it just didn't feel right. That content will come, and I think it'll be a nice way to transition from very serious content to a little bit lighthearted content. Anyways, this morning I wanted to again just thank everyone out there for being awesome, and the big takeaway for me is me are not alone, and there's a ton of other people dealing with this. A lot of people didn't realize it was a disease like me. I took this magazine that I serendipitously stumbled upon in order to find out that this was a disease. I know it's hard to talk about this. Hopefully it's a little bit easier doing it privately with me after, could have been a good bird. I know it's hard to talk about this. I appreciate you guys all reaching out and telling me your stories and some of the ways that you've been dealing with it. I wanted to follow up today with a little bit more information that I forgot to mention in the first part, but also some tips that I think are really helpful. One big area that I did not talk about is the other side of this disease. So binging is one part, but something that closely follows its relative is purging. Again, I think a lot of you will be surprised that you will agree is something that you've dealt with is exercise bulimia. And exercise bulimia is where instead of overdoing it with eating, you actually overdo it with exercise. You have a bad night of eating, wake up the next morning, try to run a marathon on a treadmill. Restrict your calories, be mad at yourself for doing what you did the previous night. I've done that before. It is not fun. Every single one of those things is just more detrimental and destructive and puts you deeper into this hole because you're probably not sleeping, you're not recovering, and it just spirals down. Exercise bulimia, just like binge eating disorder, I would look it up. Reading about it will help you out. An important aside is having a coach through all of this is super important. We'll get to that in a second. So there's a ton really amazing feedback that I got and advice, so I wanted to aggregate that into a quick update here. First and foremost is talking about it. Everyone who reached out to me, awesome. If that was your first time talking about it, amazing. That really means a lot to me. If you want to talk about it with me, feel free to reach out. Twitter is much better than Instagram for direct message, so find me on Twitter. I will respond to each and every one of you. Number one, talk to somebody. I would start with family. I would start with a close friend, and once you've gotten that first person, every consecutive conversation will be that much easier, but you need to talk about it because one, they're going to be able to help and support you, but two, they might have similar things going on, and hearing your story might help them open up about what they're dealing with as well. Two, if you're not comfortable with friends and family, talk to a professional. I did that once. It was helpful. There was a lot that they were able to tell me. I feel like a follow-up session is probably in order for me at some point. As I mentioned before, I didn't think I was quite ready for it, but talking to a professional, whether it is somebody at an eating disorder clinic or just a therapist, is probably a really good opportunity for getting real constructive feedback and identify what the underlying issue is. Three, another really important person to have in your life is a coach. I recently started working with David Roach again. It's been amazing. He is not only able to construct an amazingly detailed and well thought out training plan, but he's also there to listen to all of my complaints, my issues, and give advice, be supportive, and be an emotional rock when you really need it. The other great part about this is addressing that exercise bulimia bit. A coach is going to be able to identify that, and even if you don't admit that there's issues going on, if he sees that you ran 18 miles on a day that you're supposed to go 8, he or she is probably going to figure out that something might not be quite right with you. Number two, a big thing for me, and I hate doing this because I love sweets, but eliminate all of those temptations. If you know there's some food item that can be a trigger for you, get it out of your house. I filmed last Friday or Saturday. The next day I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, and he was talking about this. He had to get rid of all of the things in his house that were temptations for him. When I get home, I've got broccoli, spinach, seltzer water. I've really eliminated a lot of the bad things. Another part of that, folks come home from a stressful day of work, they're exhausted, and all they want to do is start eating food. I do this. Something that I've begun to introduce is a 30-minute routine that as soon as I get home, I do every single day. Change out of my work clothes, get my yoga mat out, put on my favorite sports TV show, pardon the interruption, and during that 30 minutes, stretching, rolling, 2 to 3 core routines that I try to incorporate as well. And by the time I've gotten through that 30-minute routine, I feel so much less stress, like I've burned off all that stress from the day, and then I can begin my evening and make better decisions than I would have immediately when I got home. Let's see, what else is there? We interrupt our regular scheduled broadcast. I thought me talking on a rock for a while was probably gonna get boring pretty quickly, so it's me talking with the creek behind me. I know we haven't talked about weight and body at all, but one other thing that I need to do is just get rid of my scale. I'm not gonna throw it away because that seems wasteful, but I'm taking out the batteries, gonna put it away deep inside a dark part of my apartment, similar to the end of Jumanji, to hide that board so it doesn't come back for another 20 years when The Rock goes into the game and makes an excellent sequel. I'm gonna stop weighing myself. I should not be measuring my fitness by some stupid number that a machine is telling me. What happens when that machine becomes self-aware? Cue Terminator music. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. You're close. Give them to me. You shall not pass. I believe that's Avengers 1 or 2, I'm not sure. Anyways, now back to The Rock, where Chris is gonna talk some more. The sun is rising. It is a beautiful day. I gotta finish this run because I gotta get to work. We have an amazing community. We are super lucky. I'm so grateful that you guys have been so accepting of what I've been talking about. Like I said, we'll probably get back to some goofiness, but there'll be more updates about this in the future. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Friday. In the words of Rebecca Black, it's Friday, Friday. Getting on down with Friday. Yesterday was Thursday. Tomorrow is Saturday. Today is Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. Woo!